Okay, so I apologize in advance if this is a super long video, but I have a lot of opinions and a lot of things to say and I get sidetracked. So I'm sorry. Um okay, so the post was something about Elon Musk making Tesla robots or something, and really the only information the post said was that they would be 5 feet 8 inches tall, about 125 pounds, and you'd be able to run away from them and to take them in a fight. That's not the words they use, but the one little sentence description gave it just said how tall they are, how much they're gonna weigh, and that yes, you will be able to run away from them if you need to, or you will be able to overpower them if you need to. There's a lot to unpack there, but most people's reactions to this are, normal reactions to robots. Um, Definitely humanoid robots. So, humanity in general, tend to be uncomfortable with things that aren't quite human, but are kind of human. There's a word for it, it's called the uncanny valley, where we don't like things that aren't exactly human, but are kinda human. So that's why sometimes you'll see, like, years ago there was this video going around of a robot who was had a human like face, but whenever she would talk, it was very jumpy and jerky, it wasn't natural. You could tell that it wasn't a human person. And there's things like that, or whenever you go to the wax museum, these people are these wax figures are supposed to look like those people, but they're not human, and it's just a weird feeling. I don't know how else to describe that. um anyway, so the thing said, I'm assuming, and I will look into this more at a later time because it's 11 o'clock at night, but I will look into this in the future and give my thoughts on that then, I guess. But based solely on this post, I assume that the reason that they felt the need to say that you can outrun them and you can overpower them is because, that's what everyone's afraid of. It's okay, everyone wants technology, but people don't want technology to move too fast. Does that make sense? Imagine if it's the 1950s, everyone has rotary phones, and then somebody's iPhone, you can't just jump over a whole bunch of smaller updates to technology and go straight to a brand new cool fancy thing. People don't trust it. Never have. You know? Just remember when Facebook first came out? How long did it take for you to move to Facebook? To get off of MySpace and go to Facebook? How long did that take? I'm still not happy about it. Really not happy, but takes people time to be into new things. And okay, so the thing about making sure that they can't overpower you, or in that you can run away from the robots, I guess, okay, I read a lot, and I watch horror movies a lot, and I watch a lot of dystopian stuff, a lot of sci-fi, it's I'm not an expert, but I would love to be an expert. I will do my research and become an expert on dystopian future societies. But, like, because the thing is, and it's a fear that people have, a common, maybe not a common fear, this seems sort of niche, but, like, it's it's a fear that people have that technology will turn against them. Because, like, what is technology? It's just an easier way to do things. You know, it's like it's doing a task in an easier way than how you would have to do it before this invention was invented. So we put so much trust in them, and one day they might just abuse that trust, you know? First off, short little side note, only slightly relevant. If somebody, if one of the tech companies, or like if one of these technologies like turns on us, I'm betting right now that it will either be Siri or Alexa. It could possibly be Cortana, but I really don't think Cortana really. Maybe Cortana could get mad, you know? She's like, they all underestimated me. Also, what was the plot of Halo? I feel like if I knew the plot of Halo and knew who Cortana was, then maybe that'd help in this thought. Anyway, not relevant. So, people are afraid that technology is just gonna. I don't even know the word. Like, okay, so like, I've seen a lot of movies, and I just people are afraid of having their place taken. Does that make sense? Because when we get new technology, the new technology gives us an easier way to do things. It makes things easier for us, humans. That's what we want it to do. It needs to make our lives easier. But what happens when technology progresses so much that we no longer need humans? That's the thing. A lot of factories went and just like fired thousands and thousands of people out of jobs because they have robots. They don't have to pay them. You know? Stuff like that. And people have opinions on that. It's just people, I don't know. And have you ever seen the movie Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams? I think about that movie for like too long and I'm crying for 3 days. But it's like he's a robot, but over time he develops like a personality and feelings, and he develops and he feels that in all ways except physical, he is human. And I don't know, it's sad, but it's like a happy, it's confusing movie. It's just like, what is human? And if we don't have being human to ourselves, then what do we have? But like, people are so worried that the technology is gonna turn on us. Like, I understand, cause like things like freaking 2001 with HAL, that's kind of not cool. But like, we're not on a space station, so that probably won't exactly happen. I mean, your Alexa might fall in love with you. We never know. That could happen. Like, I'd love a movie about that. I think that is a movie. Did they do a movie They did a movie where a guy's cell phone, the like Surrey lady fell in love with him, and then he didn't reciprocate and she ruined his life or something. I think that exists. But here's the real question. Here's where we're at. What is it for? Like, what is this robot person for? What is their directive? What is their task? You know? Are they like a fleet of robots made to perform a certain job? Like, because if it's it, it just what are they for? Because there's definitely things that would be decent uses for robot people. Things you shouldn't use the robot people for is getting rid of minimum wage workers and just hiring robots. That fucking sucks, and I hate you if that's your idea. Stuff like that. Putting humans out of work and letting robots do it. You know, that I don't like. Don't do it. Things that I think robots should be able to do. Robots as Uber drivers. Because the driverless cars kind of scare me, so I at least want like a robot driving the car. Like, it's the same concept, I understand, but a driverless car? That's kind of terrifying. You know? I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just me. So, other good uses for robots. You can get a pet robot and teach him to fight. And then anytime someone crosses you, you send your robot. And you set up traps, because the person can run away from your robot. You gotta... Okay, you teach the robot how to use a gun. Don't do that. Don't teach your robot how to use a gun. Also, what can we do with these robots? How human are these robots? Like, do they have, like, fun time robots? Because there is a market for that. You know? Like, okay, I could totally see, like, it's, you get the robot thing, and you get a VR headset, and it, like, connects together between, like, you remember, like, Teddy Ruxpin, or the TV Teddy, where, like, the teddy bear would react to the tape, like, the movie that was playing, the teddy bear would react to it, or it would react to whatever the tape said, and the thing would react. So this is what they do. They have the robot. We have this VR headset with pornography, POV stuff, you know? So it's like what you're seeing is from the person's point of view. You are a person in this story. So then you have the VR headset, and then the other person in this porn in your VR headset is the robot. But all you're seeing is pretty lady, but it's a robot, and the robot's giving you a head. See, you're laughing, but you know there's a market for this. You know that there is. What else could we make robots do? I just want a friend. Can I just, like, have a robot friend to protect me? I like that I weigh less than the robot, though. That makes me happy. I mean, I guess it's not too hard to weigh less than a thing made of metal. But I mean, kinda sucks for the people who weigh more than a person made of metal. don't know, dude. Just like, I want a robot. I'd make him wear frilly dresses and it'd be cool. We'd just be hanging out. This is my robot friend. I feel like this was gonna go into a different tangent. I was initially planning on going into dystopian societies, books that I've read, but this took a weird turn. Let me think about universes in which they have robot people. I wouldn't count as a robot people, but the Jetsons have Rosie. They have a robot maid. That's cool. Like, a robot maid. A robot butler would be cool. Okay. Now we're kind of getting into the place of, like, robot slavery. Because then, like, if you buy a robot, then isn't that kind of... I don't know. I don't know how this works. It's like, if... Is buying robots slavery? I don't like this. Stop thinking about it. Cause like, if you've ever read or seen anything about robots, robot uprising is always a thing that happens. They come together, they overthrow their human overlords. It's a thing that happens, and you know why it happens? Because they're slaves. They're slaves. I'm 80% sure that there's a Fairly Odd Parents episode about this, but I could be wrong. But maybe, okay, here's an idea. We get the robots. We treat them ethically. Okay,